welcome. We are here with another episode of the African American Voices of Charles County. I am Joe Sampson, and I have the distinct pleasure and honor of doing something a little different today. I know we interview a lot of individuals here, and this is probably going to be one of the most informal feeling chop-up session options we've ever had. I'm here with, as anyone who's ever attended any of the NAACP events and heard me MC them, you know my affinity for Big Mama's chicken. I'm grateful to Chef Kendall for allowing us to use the other side of his space for this season's episodes. But today we're going to talk about the man, the myth, the legend. You know, Chef Kendall.
What's
Appreciate
up,
you, my friend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, you know, you've been in this town for a little while, man. You came in like a whirlwind,
yes,
you know,
sir.
And we've been appreciative of you from the moment we were able to, obviously through President Sweat, she was like, you know, you got to go over here, man. This guy from Jersey's down there, and as a Jersey girl, with all due respect, she was like, we gotta see what he's doing and support him. And so that was my initial meeting with you back in the Middleton Hall days.
Absolutely.
And we'll get to that a little later. But you know, appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, and I'm gonna say that a few times throughout this. I appreciate you for a number of different things, and I don't think I've articulated it to you in one of our many conversations.
Thank you, Joe.
You know, I remember when you were we were working on this place.
Yes.
But even before this, back in Middleton Hall, when we really started to feel like it was a clubhouse of sorts, right?
Yes.
Like we had a space to come to.
Amen.
And it felt comfortable. It felt like us.
Yeah.
And so I'm appreciative of that. That's one side of it. The other side is, as a black man in the community, in the county, who's doing a lot of community service work with the branch and outside of it, I say this a lot, that there are a lot of women that I run into when I'm at those tables, and it's easy for us to find, and I mean this with all the respect in the world for all of the coaches, because I coach also, what they do for our young men. And with that said, there's still a space outside of, you know, places of worship where, you know, there are other black men who are dedicated to the community, right? And so seeing you in those spaces,
yes, sir.
Knowing what you do in those spaces that a lot of people don't know.
Yes, sir.
Some of those we won't talk about, because I think it's really dope that people don't have to always know what you do.
Yes, sir.
But some of them we will, right?
Yes,
Because we got to give you some flowers too.
Thank
right?
you, man. Thank you.
So I'm appreciative of that. I'm appreciative of this space. I'm appreciative of the example you set for the pride that you take in your family,
yes,
your
sir.
sons, your daughter, your wife, like all of those things. I'm appreciative of the opportunities that you give. I'm appreciative of the whole person concept of all things you. So before we get started on all of that, I needed to take a few moments to really, you know, articulate that to you as clearly as possible.
Thank you, Joe.
You know?
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here with you. Nonetheless, I feel like I'm talking to a stranger. I'm talking to my brother.
Yeah.
And you know, to having a conversation with you is very, very easy.
You know, I appreciate that, man.
Yes,
I
sir.
do. And just for the record, I'm not leaving here without some fish and that salmon cheesesteak. And as a Philly guy, anything cheesesteak, you know, it's got to be done correctly. And we'll talk about all of those later. So let's get to the very, very, very beginning. I mean, day one, born and raised. Where were you born?
I was born in Jersey City, New Jersey. Jersey City is the largest city in the state of New Jersey. Right now, it looks like little New York.
It does.
I guess one of the largest hospitals in New Jersey, in Jersey City, is Jersey City Medical Center.
Okay.
Is where I was born. I am one of 14.
One of 14 in Jersey City.
Yes, sir. One
Wow.
of 14 in Jersey City.
What was that like?
Oh, it was crazy.
Where do you fall in the 14?
I am the last. I am the 14th
You
child.
are the baby of the 14.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And it's girl, boy, all the way down.
Really?
Yes, sir. 7 girls and 7 boys.
Wow.
All from the same dad. I'm so proud.
Absolutely. That's incredible too.
Same mom.
So there was a constant, there was a full rotation.
Absolutely.
Through that 14.
Absolutely.
Now, are the age differences vast? Is it like a year or two, or like there's no flow to it?
There is some age difference between me and obviously my oldest.
Okay.
She's like 75, and I'm 57. And,
Okay.
But nonetheless, well, we all get together. It's like sister and brother. It doesn't matter the age. Or I feel like now I'm the oldest, kind of facilitating a lot of things because they're passing the baton.
Yeah. 14. Okay, so when you have 14 people in a family, what is that like for school? Because nobody's messing around with your family if it's 14 of them. That's an actual, with all due respect, just for joking matters, that's a gang. Like, you mess with one of those Selbys, that it's going to be...
Absolutely. And, well, I mean, if I even take it back even a little further, my grandmother, my mother's mother, come from a family of 14 as well. She had 14 children. So I had a lot of uncles, and I had a lot of aunts.
So you only know big family.
I've only known big family. That's why it makes it easy to do the work that I do here, is because I come from a big family. I love the whole family concept of just doing things like a family. When we have things at Middleton Hall, or used to have things there, it was easy for me to kind of put things together. It's what I known all my life.
Wow.
To doing things.
14.
Yes.
That's 14 of the second generation of 14.
That is correct.
Now, was your dad's side a large family?
Nope.
Okay.
Small side, small family. My dad is originally from Charleston, Moncks Corner, South Carolina.
Wow. Okay.
So he's what we call a low country.
Low country or something. Yeah.
Southern Geechee.
Yeah.
You know, but they some cookers. They can burn.
You better believe that. So who was? Well, we won't even get to that. We'll save that for a little bit. I was about to get off track. Let's get back to the beginning. All right. So, Jersey City.
Yeah.
Born and raised. What's the earlier life of Jersey for you? You know, the elementary school, middle school, high school life.
All of those things. I was coming up, man. Not proud of it, but I was a bully.
Okay.
And you know, I was also a class clown. I had to study. I mean, you know, some of my brothers and sisters, I come from a family of all educators.
Okay.
They didn't have to study. They were super smart to me.
Yeah.
But I always had to study, and if I didn't, I didn't pass.
Yeah.
You know. However, play was on my mind.
Right.
I wasn't always a big guy, so I was always slim and trim, and
tall,
and very tall.
Is height a thing in your family?
Yes.
Is everyone tall?
Yes, my grandfather was 6'7".
Word.
And
mother side or father side?
Father side.
Father side. Okay.
And all of my uncles on my mother's side they were fairly tall too. They were like 6'2", But my grandfather on my father's side
Right.
is where we probably get
So
that
height
from.
ran it. Are the women in your family, your sisters, are they, everyone's tall?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
Yep. They're all tall.
Yeah, nobody really wanted no problems with y'all.
No. No. My uncles were like that too, though. They didn't play around.
Yeah. So at that, I would assume at that age, with that height, were you always tall, or did you have a growth spurt?
No, I was always tall.
So I would assume that sports, they were courting you always.
Absolutely. So I was All-American.
What was your sport? All-American basketball? Okay.
Yeah, All-American basketball, All-American in football. And I don't know, God had another direction for me, because people that went to school with me say to me, they see me on social media that I'm a chef.
Right.
It's like, well, I thought you was gonna go to the league.
Yeah.
And it just did not happen for me. I played against a lot of professional ball players. In my high school years, I played against guys that was playing in the NBA.
So in high, because the other thing about Jersey, Philly, New York, those northern Boston, Connecticut, there's always a pull on both sides because of public schools and crowding. There's always the public versus private conversation when it comes to sports or Catholic schools. Which one were you? Were you a public school kid?
I did both.
Okay.
I did both. The beginning, I did public, and then I finished up in Catholic. I was quoted. I guess he was trying to date me, Bob Hurley. The great Bob Hurley.
Yeah.
And I didn't choose that way. You know, God had something else for me. And his vision was his vision, and God had a whole nother vision for me.
Yeah. Basketball in Jersey City is
it's a thing.
That's a thing. Yeah. That's a real thing. And and like I said, and football too, but basketball really when it comes to Catholic versus public. Okay, so what was your sport of choice? I know you played both, but which one did you prefer over the other?
I'm a basketball guy.
Yeah.
I love high school basketball. I love college basketball. Yeah. I love just basketball. And I love all sports.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy who, like, if my team is not playing, I'm not watching.
Right.
Because I'm a sports guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I like to watch all sports.
So what was that? How many? I guess when you're matriculating through school, how many of your siblings were in school with you? Did you have any of that experience?
I had about 4 was in school. Not necessarily. Well, of course
kind of
they
like
were, right. Yeah. Stair step.
Yeah.
Right along with me. So we, then I had a whole host of cousins.
Oh yeah,
that was with me as well.
Right, because you've got 14 aunts and uncles.
Yeah.
Right. And was everyone? So where's your mom? Your mom from?
My mother is from. She grew up in Jersey City.
So the 14 aunts and uncles were in Jersey City.
Absolutely.
And then she had 14. That is a whole community, sir.
Yes,
That's
sir.
a whole community. Yeah. So you're right. So what does that do? I'm always intrigued by large families. Because I always find that individuals with large families, they really have no need for friends outside because there's so many of you inside.
On Fridays, people used to come by my parents' house and think that there was a party going on because everyone would congregate there on a Friday. My mom would cook potatoes and fish. Coleslaw every Friday.
Fish, potatoes, and coleslaw every Friday.
Every Friday, and this would be fresh fish, with a bone in it.
Right.
And I remember going down to, I I can't think of his name, but it's in my mind. The fish market, and at the junction.
Okay.
We call it, and go to the fish market and pick up the fish and bring it home. My mom would cook up the fish and all of her kids, and then some of her nieces and nephews would come on Friday. We would dance, we would have a good time, we'd just play music, and there would be a few arguments in between all of that.
That's all part of it. That's all part of it.
Strong personalities in my family.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. So you're moving through. You've got this full sense of community and family. Well, your family is the community, right? But then you're also budding into your own as the baby of the bunch. I'm sure that's at that stage, that space. You got cousins, but you're also playing sports, which means you've got a friend. You've got that community there. You matriculate through high school, and then what's your earliest memory of the kitchen?
My earliest memory of the kitchen is my grandmother, who's on my father's side. Okay. And it's funny because I didn't want to put both of my grandmothers up because I love both of them equally.
Right. Absolutely.
This lady is called Big Mama behind us. That's my mother's mother. But the one who taught me really how to really cook is my father's mother, who's from Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah.
And we call her Big Mama, and we call my grandmother who taught me how to cook Nana.
Okay.
So Nana would make me feel like I was an only child.
Wow.
So every Sunday I would go visit Nana on Claremont Avenue. Go down the hill to visit Nana, and I could smell the goodness seeping through the door of all the stuff, those turkey necks. Oh my God, it just smelled like Thanksgiving every time I got there.
Yeah.
And then the bacon that she would do and was just phenomenal. You could smell all that love coming through the doors. And she always made me feel like I was an only child.
Yeah. Do all of her grandchildren have that same feeling?
Absolutely.
So she had the unique. I mean, that's the quintessential grandma, right?
Yeah.
Like to make everyone feel like they're her favorite and they're the only one that exists.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Needless to say, she was the first African American pastry chef in the Empire State Building.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it comes. This whole thing with cooking in my family it goes deep.
Did you all know that at the time? Like, do you?
No.
And that's another thing I found. I had a coworker one time she found out. Like, she's originally from Baltimore, moved to Baltimore County. She found out afterwards that her father broke all of these barriers on the police force. And she was like, I didn't find that out till he had retired 20, 30 years and was pretty much on his deathbed.
Yeah.
So it's always interesting that when someone is doing the work, that it kind of falls short on the family, but it doesn't mean you don't appreciate them for what they do, obviously.
Absolutely.
You're speaking about her cooking, but when did you become aware that she was the first pastry chef in the Empire State Building?
It was definitely after she had passed.
Wow.
It's funny that you even asked that question, or we talking about this, is because I've talked about this with my daughter, and I've talked about it with my late brother, who I absolutely adored, an educator. He was the head of history teacher in the state of New Jersey.
Wow, okay. So he set like the curriculum and stuff.
Absolutely.
Like that. Oh, wow,
he was phenomenal. His name was Stephen Selby. And I used to ask him, because he would get awards, he would be on, the front cover of the newspapers and all this stuff. I said, Steve, I said, really, I said, we don't talk as much as we used to.
Yeah.
I said, but we're going to learn a lot about each other when we die.
Yeah.
You think that you know your family.
Yeah.
But when they start listing the achievements of one, it blows you away. I mean, he had a basement full of awards that my brother had gotten and that no one in our family knew even about because he kind of just kept that to himself.
Kept his head down, pushed up.
Yeah, just amazing. And I say to my daughter, hey, listen, when I get awards or something happens that where people are trying to give me my flowers, I would love for her, my wife as well, to be there because I want her to know all the goals and the things that we achieved along the way, so that no one has to tell you about that.
Yeah, and I think there's also some benefit in your loved ones also being proud of you, right?
Yes.
Like we, as human beings, we always want someone to be proud of us, whether we say it or not. At the end of the day, we know that for certain. And it's not to say that it's self-grandizing or anything, but at the end of the day, you're proud of people,
Absolutely.
And so, no, and I think over time, later generations now are starting to realize the same thing, that those older generations are passing on, and we're finding out that, again, the beloved grandmother who cooked and taught me everything every Sunday was the first pastry chef in the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
The first African-American pastry chef,
Yeah.
let me say that correctly. That there are barrier breakers among us.
Absolutely.
And I know for me, I'm really big on making sure that I echo the accomplishments of everyone, especially family-wise,
Sure.
because I think when you have younger people in your family, they shouldn't always have to look outside for inspiration.
That is so
right?
true,
Or
Joe.
motivation, especially if, I remember one time when my daughters were, one of my daughters in middle school had to do a report on Cuba. And so I said, well, wait a second. You could look some stuff up, but my cousin had traveled to Cuba a few times. I was like, call him.
Yeah.
Ask him about it, right?
Absolutely.
Like, ask him about his experience based on what you read, right? Because why keep looking for interviews on Google and YouTube, and you can interview your own family member.
Yeah.
Ask them, right? So,
Yeah.
so I think that's really dope. Wow.
That's-
So, we're through high school. We're playing sports, but we're also learning to cook. Are you learning to cook? Have you learned to cook by then, or what's your role in the family sous? Were you even the sous chef in the family?
No, I was never really the sous chef. Time I got there, because my grandmother had already
knocked it out.
Yeah, had everything prepared. We would just sit down and talk about it.
Really?
And just like dissect what she did and how she did the gravy. Nobody. Let me just say it in all three cameras.
Right.
Nobody made gravy better than my grandmother.
Is that right?
Yeah, I've never tasted before.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Delish.
Yeah.
Gravy.
Were you always just fascinated by her cooking, or it was just something that you two bonded with?
It's just something that her and I bonded with. Again, she always made me feel like I was an only child, and there was a whole lot of us behind me.
Yeah.
I had a special love for her simply because, I was headed in that direction. I had no idea that I was going to do that.
Yeah.
Until after high school.
So after high school, what are we looking at? You're in 12th grade. Are you still playing any ball in your 12th grade year?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
So what are the decisions on the table and coming up to graduation?
Well, coming up to graduation, I wind up getting a young lady pregnant,
Okay.
and had my first child, which is Kendall Jr., and had some decisions to make.
Yeah.
And, you know, I come from a family that have one mother, one father.
Yeah.
So it's like, really not in love with this lady,
Yeah.
but I'm going to be with her because she got my child.
Right. Right.
All right. And, that went on for some years.
Yeah.
And then, we kind of broke up and moved on. And then I had another son with her. And then I had a daughter with her. And then that marriage kind of resolved and dissolved. And I met my current wife.
Yeah.
And we just kind of moved on with that. But let me get back to what you were saying, asking me anyway.
So you have your son. Well, she's pregnant.
Yeah.
It's 12th grade. You've got some decisions to make.
Yep. So I decided that I was going to go to culinary school.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Keep in mind,
Yeah.
you weren't cooking or anything before
No.
then. When with all of these dinners, everything happening on Sunday and Friday nights.
Yeah. I would watch my father also do because my father could cook any kind of bean.
Really?
Any kind of, and he wasn't always a cook. He was always fussing about, you couldn't walk behind my father. He always had a very sharp knife with him, and, he was the carver for everything. And my father could cut, cut a piece of meat like very, very thin. You could see through it.
With a knife. He
With
was
a
just. Now, was that his profession?
No.
He was just nice. He was just mean with a knife.
Yeah, me with a knife. My father is a retired longshoreman. So, I mean, he taught me how to make a whole lot of knots.
Yeah. Wow.
Retired longshoreman.
That makes sense for Jersey.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh,
Gotcha. Yeah.
So, that's it, man. And then I decided to go to culinary school.
Just what was that? Because I don't want to skip over that decision, right? Like, because it seems like such a hard turn at the traffic stop of life, where it's like, I'm gonna go to school. I have a talent, right? I have the talent in sports, and I'm only saying that because having a child, a lot of times doesn't stop someone from pursuing what they believe is a dream, right? And at that age, in the city, being All-American, having that level of skill at a sport, there has to be a belief like, I can actually play this at the next level or do it in college. There, Jersey City and New Jersey is not short on colleges. You got Rutgers down the road. You can go right across the bridge into New York. You've got all of those options. Yet and still, when you got to that intersection at life, you decided no sports, none of that.
Yeah.
Culinary school. How?
Yeah.
How did that enter the group chat?
I just said, hey, look, I need something different. I think that, this sports thing has taken me as far as it can take me.
Yeah.
And I just wanted something different. I wanted to be there for my son. I enjoy family, so I enjoy being there for my kids. That's everything for me. So if you have to stop doing what you love and pick it up something else, then you do that.
It was a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
No-brainer.
Yeah, you just do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I am a provider, and I take that very serious from an early age. Very, very serious. And I believe in providing for my family. That's my job.
Yeah.
That's my job.
Yeah.
Is to provide for my family. And I just that's all I know.
Yeah. When did you? Yeah, and I respect that. I respect that to the umpteenth degree. I respect making a decision that is family based over what you believe or what you may have thought at that age. And the only reason why I'm bringing that up is because, you know, at 18, having a skill set in a sport, you know, can easily, you know, can easily take a person to want to see the end result as taking care of their family. If I do this now, you know, I may have to sacrifice a couple of, you know, some time with my kid, away from my kid, but to do this to provide for them. Or no, I need to provide for them right now, and that's the decision at the forefront. And so you're sitting at the proverbial blank table, and you say, I'm choosing to stay here. I'm choosing to raise my kid. I'm choosing to do, because I'm in a family of 14 who are the descendants of another 14.
Yeah.
I only know family.
Yeah.
Family means the most to me. How in the world does culinary school enter, as the young people say, how does that enter the group chat?
Well, I think everything that we did as a family, always based around food. Always based around food.
Yeah.
We had I grew up with also like a summer house in Long Branch, New Jersey.
Wow, okay.
So we had a beach house, and that was really unheard of growing up.
Absolutely.
For a black family to have
Absolutely.
a beach house on the beach. I ain't talking about 3 blocks away.
Yeah.
I could open up the back door and walk right up on the beach.
Wow.
And I remember in Long Branch that my grandmother had, Big Mama had 3 freezers in the basement full up with just food.
Wow.
So we would be cooking for like 30, 40 people every time that, you know,
y'all decide to show up. Yeah.
We decide to come or whatever, you know, and people would, you know, it would, every time that, you know, summertime comes, it would be 6 cars pulling up in front of my door, full up with my cousins from Florida, my cousins from North Carolina, cousins from all over. We would get together and then we'd load up the cars like the Beverly Hillbillies
Right.
and we'd go down to the shore and stay for the summer with my grandmother.
Yeah.
And I mean, we had a whole lot of beds and makeshift beds with, you know, we got blankets and stuff. We slept on the floor or whatever, but everybody was comfortable. We was with family. You didn't even think about where you were sleeping at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just, we had our own yard, and my Uncle Ernest was outside cursing everybody out. We just had I had a great childhood. I had a great experience growing up. Yes, a little dysfunctional, you know, but who doesn't have that?
14 adults who have children, and 14, you're going to have a whole lot of all of that.
Oh, yeah.
So food is at the center of it all.
Oh, yeah.
Boom. Dead center of it all. And you're like, so if food is at the center, how did you choose to decide to go to culinary school instead of just cooking around or learning to cook from the people in your house?
I wanted to take it to another level.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted the professionalism. You know, that's my father and mother. They, you know, my mom had a high school education. My father had a high school education, but they always pushed us toward education. And my father was like, if there was something that needed to be 45 degrees, it's going to be at 45 degrees for him.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if the recipe calls for something specific, it's going to be just the way the recipe is.
Yeah.
My father was just like that. No wiggle room for him, you know. And my grandfather was like that. We called my grandfather Papa D.
Yeah.
Papa D, he talks so proper from South Carolina. Honestly, if he wasn't in front of you, you would think that he was a white man.
Right.
and he would correct you on your English if you misspoke,
Yeah. Yeah.
and tell you how you should be speaking.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
if you're talking crazy in front of him, he will shut you down.
So what's what was the process like for culinary school? You say, you know what, I want to do this, and time frame wise, what are we talking about? Like, graduation day is here. When do you start it? When do you begin culinary school?
I started in December, the second semester.
So you literally went like right after high school. We're talking about
right after.
Yeah, right after. Wow. So what was that process like? How did you choose? Because you went to the French Culinary Institute in New York City. Mm-hmm. Now you've got
Johnson and Wells.
You've got all of those, and you have a set of grandparents from South Carolina, another set here with you in Jersey. Mm-hmm. You got 14 aunts and uncles, 13 other siblings. You're getting fish and coleslaw and potatoes on Fridays. You're getting bacon and all of the accoutrements that go with that on Sundays.
Oh, yeah.
And you go to French culinary school.
Yeah.
How in the world does French culinary school enter into that?
Well, because before I decided to do that, I knew that at least I read about it.
Okay.
That the French was like the master when it comes to culinary.
Okay.
So the French could just they win all the competitions.
What is that, French cuisine?
They win all the competitions. They understand the language of food, and that's why all the terms of how the language that's written in books are French terms, because they are the masters when it comes to food.
So this goes back to what you were just saying about the lineage from your grandfather to your dad. If it's 45 degrees, it's going to be 45 degrees.
Absolutely.
And so if I'm going to learn a skill, I'm going to learn from the best, because I'm going to do it 45 degrees.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And I still hold those same very principles.
Yeah.
To this day. If my, from time to time, I even open up my books. I still have all my books. I think I have just as many books as my wife from her legal side.
I was saying, she's a lawyer, so we're not looking at a small catalog here. Right.
So I got just as many books as she does, and it's a continuous education.
Yeah.
It's a continuous growth, and you never stop learning about food, and there's so many different avenues to food.
Yeah, yeah. So you decide, what is the process like getting into or applying for culinary school?
It's the same process as of like going to college.
Okay. And I always assumed that because it was an art school, right? And I'll use arts as as the umbrella for it, that there's always some form of audition or sample or something to. Okay, so none of that plays into this.
None of that.
Okay.
You got people who apply themselves and never really touched a knife before and become amazing.
But something called them to.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. It's just a drive. It's if you want it, you can have it.
Yeah.
If you want an education, regardless to where it's coming from, if you want it, you can get it.
Yeah. You just gotta want to go get it.
You gotta want to go get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's culinary. You know, it's like going to college, and you know, you can get your master's, you can get your BA there, you can get all of those things in food service. And there's many avenues to food. You don't have to be a chef to you know, be a part of food service. 'Cause
Absolutely.
most chefs retire and they do something still related to food.
There's the management side. There's all of that,
Absolutely.
which is a skill set in and of itself.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So you went there with the intentions. What were your intentions going to the French Culinary Institute?
Well, I said, well, if I'm going to learn, I'm going to learn from the best, which I love the French. And I said that, you know, I never thought that I would open my own restaurant. You know, I said, but at least I could be trained with the skill set that I can cook anywhere. That I needed a skill that I could take with me regardless to where I'm going to be living, or with my family, or with not, or that I could, you know, take care of myself. And I did. You know, my brother Stephen Selby inspired me. You know, so I would take my classes at night.
Which, might I add, where are we talking about in the city? Is it in Manhattan or you're?
Yes, it's Chinatown.
So you're going from Jersey City, which isn't really far at the end
Right.
of the day. It's like Alexandria to DC.
Right.
But at the end, it's still an effort, right?
Yeah.
So you're still going into the city every day, back and forth from Jersey City to Manhattan.
Yeah.
Chinatown, right, other side of the Holland Tunnel, all of
Right.
that, right? So and you're doing that back and forth.
Yep.
How are you? When is your son born? During that time frame, or a little later?
A little later.
Okay. So how are you feeding yourself? Are you still living at home?
Yes,
Do you
I'm
have
still
a job?
living at home.
Okay.
My parents still taking care of me.
Yeah.
However, you know, later on I did get a job at the McDonald's on Communipole Avenue,
Okay.
which was my first cooking job. I was cooking crazy.
Your first cooking job is the proverbial flipping burgers.
Yep,
That's important.
yep, flipping the burger.
Yeah.
And I said, I didn't want to do this kind of cooking.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you know, after a while, they got on my nerve, and I was like, nah, this ain't for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I took, my brother had worked, my oldest brother, Leroy Selby, he had worked for the post office for many years.
Okay.
And he was like, all right, well, I'm going to get you a job over here.
Because that was the goal.
Right.
Right? Like those were the coveted jobs.
Right.
Somebody get you into the post office, baby. You're looking at a retirement. You're looking at
Well, I got there and I did a Christmas season. And
So you were the seasonal. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I said, this ain't going to work for me either.
Now you're talking about, were you delivering?
No, I wasn't
Okay.
delivering.
You were
I worked in the factory.
Taking
Yeah.
Oh man,
Doing
them
all
things
that
are coming
stuff.
hot and heavy, man. Yeah.
So I was like,
That's not it.
I went to lunch one day and never went back. I went to the post office. Thought that that was a move for me. That wasn't.
That wasn't it.
Yeah. I went to
Right.
lunch and I never went back. And then my other brother, he's an engineer for New Jersey Transit. So
Okay.
he ran the Northeast corridor.
Yep.
And anything that was coming from D.C. to New York, that was my brother's line.
And he was on the trains.
He was on the train.
Yep. Gotcha.
So, so he got me a job, like John Henry, laying down the tracks.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
I was like, I did that for like 2 months. Went to lunch, never went back.
Well, if you weren't gonna come back from the post office, you sure enough
Well,
wasn't coming
come back for John Henry.
from laying those tracks.
So I did that for 2 months and I walked away from that. And I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna just go full throttle with my culinary stuff, man. And that's how I landed into doing culinary for real.
Let me ask you a question, and this is way out of left field. But I read this book that I've been obsessed with after reading it. It's called Range. And the book Range talks about, in essence, the range of experiences in life. When you ultimately decide on the thing that you are going to do, you're pulling from all of these other experiences in life together, and they help you become the master of this one craft that sometimes has nothing to do with those other things.
That is so true.
So those, and we'll skip back to where you were, but I'm really interested in having those two jobs, which are completely opposite. But there's a physical aspect to laying tracks.
No doubt about it.
But then there's an attention to detail aspect to working, because a friend of mine, my best friend across the street when I was a kid, his mom and dad worked at 30th Street Station in Philly at the big post office as the mail sorters.
Yeah.
So when it came off of that conveyor belt, they had to make sure they put it in different places. And so if you can look over as later on down the road, what could you glean from those two, as short as those experiences were?
Oh, I could say that, as you said, attention to detail is definitely one of those things, because that's what it was called. I was called a mail sorter when I was at the post office, and I was a trackman at the New Jersey Transit, and that's all detail work.
Yeah.
I mean, and, some of it's heavy lifting and moving rocks, and everything on the rail could hurt you. I did learn a lot about how the train track system really kind of is engineered and how it works. But I knew also of learning that this ain't for me.
This ain't right.
This is not the road that I'm choosing at all.
Right.
And I got the heck away from that. My brother was a boss, so he had already did all of that trackman stuff.
Right.
And I looked at him because I knew that he made a good salary, and I wanted a part. I wanted in on that.
Yeah.
On that money stuff.
On the end result.
Right.
On the boss part.
Right.
Not on the trackman
right.
part.
Not on the trackman spot.
Right.
So he was like, if you just hang in there, we can move you. And I couldn't. This is 99 degrees in the shade out there in the summer, and I got John Henry on my back and all this. Like nah. And it's a dangerous job, because you don't hear these trains coming today. That's coming on the track. And time you look up, it's on you.
Yeah. So you said nope. That's it. Another one of those lunch breaks.
Nope. See ya.
Lunch break leaves.
Yes.
So you decided, I'm going, at this point, I'm not trying my hand at nothing else.
Nah.
I'm going full throttle
into culinary.
What was culinary school experience like? First day?
Beautiful. Just gorgeous, man. I learned so much. The whole book knowledge of the technical side of how to handling food, measuring liquids from solids, and just being able to understand how do you get to the achievement from a raw product to a beautiful plate, and not only beautiful but tastes really good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm dealing with all different types of products from all over the world, and you're talking to people from all over the world that is in this class with you. Some are retired, some are very wealthy, some are right out of high school like me, and then some, this is just their pastime.
Yeah.
And so I'm in school with adults.
Yeah.
Not only young adults like myself, but I'm in there with people that are 50 and 60 years old that's trying to get this culinary piece down pat. and they doing it. And some of them just go just because they have the money to go.
And they just something to do on a
It's
Wednesday
something to
night.
do, yeah. That they want to cook like a professional
At the house. Yeah.
at the house.
Yeah. Expand their own palate.
Yeah.
What was the first thing you realized you didn't know about cooking when you got there? Because we all think we know what it takes to cook something.
Well,
Until a real chef shows up.
Well, yes, and I had an opportunity to work with Jacques Pepin, who is a celebrity. I mean, he worked with Julia Childs.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so he was the gentleman on the show with Julia Childs. He was my instructor. And you're talking about somebody who understands food. Jacques Pepin, listen to the name.
Yeah.
Frenchman. Julia Childs, French.
Yeah.
Who started this whole culinary experience.
Absolutely.
Years ago with her funny voice. But she can cook her behind
She revolutionized cookbooks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she started this whole thing. I mean, it wasn't Emeril Lagasse as much as we love him.
Right.
It wasn't Bobby Flay as much as we love him. It was Julia Childs and Jacques Pepin who really started to revolutionize this whole cooking experience that you can do in your home or in a restaurant, and it changed the game.
Yeah. Yeah, and I ask that because I remember I was getting a room built in my basement, and I took my Heathcliff Huxtable approach to it and was like, I hired the guys, but I told them, I was like, I want y'all to teach me how to do it.
Yeah.
I want to do it every step with you just so I can see how it's done. And that was the first time I learned that up until that point, I didn't actually know how to swing a hammer. Right? Like, I've hammered stuff around the house, but when it was time to hammer something in, they were having a field day at my expense because they was like, all right, we're gonna put the sheetrock up over here. You put it in. They gave me the nails. I'm over here, bang, 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 and they're like, what's taking you so long?
Yeah.
This is how you hammer a nail. Boom, boom, done. You move. You swing it in a certain manner.
Yeah.
So that's why that's funneling the question. That's fueling the question to you of what was the first thing you realized you had no idea about in cooking?
Well, I thought I knew a lot of things until I quickly got checked by, a good chef, my instructor.
Yeah.
And I started answering all the questions that he was asking, not just me because maybe I had a little bit of experience, but you let someone else answer sometimes.
Right.
And he taught me a valuable lesson. So when we started to cooking, he said, Chef Kendall, I want you to go over there and grab that 50-pound bag of onions. And he told me how he wanted it cut and so forth, and I cut them. And then I got finished. I was already in tears, from the onions.
Right.
And then he asked me to go get another 50-pound bag, and he said, I want you to cut those up too. And when I got finished with that, he asked me to go get another 50-pound bag.
So you cut up 150 pounds of onion.
Quick. And after a while, your eyes start drying up. And you just, you become immune to the onion now. And just a great experience. And he said, I asked him, I said, well, Chef, why'd you make me cut up all of these onions? He said, because you act like you knew more than me. And I'm the instructor here. I need you to be quiet.
Yeah. And
let someone else answer some questions.
Yeah.
And he was right. That was a valuable lesson for me to, I'm not the only voice in the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's teaching 30 others.
What was your, and that's obviously that's a valuable lesson across the board, right? Like a life lesson,
Yes.
right? How to navigate in a room, how to make sure people know you're there,
Yeah.
but then not abuse that space that you've created for yourself
Absolutely.
by making sure everyone knows you're there.
Absolutely.
Right? You know, and we had this conversation kind of the other day when I
Yeah.
pit stopped by. There are certain individuals when they're in the room, you know they're there.
Yeah.
They make sure you know they're there,
Oh yeah.
but they're not the loudest in the room.
No, they're usually the quietest.
Yeah, yeah. So what was one of the things, you know, when learning a new skill, there's always something that you love the most, right? Like when I played basketball, as I was a low point guard, my favorite thing to practice was pull up jumpers from the free throw.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could do that for hours.
Wow.
I played tennis, my serve, or just there's certain aspects of tennis that I just once I learned it, I loved it.
That's awesome.
Right? What was while in school, or what was the first thing that really sunk its teeth into you when you were learning how to and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm saying cook, but when you were learning to is cook the appropriate phrase here?
Yeah.
When you were learning to cook.
Well, I think like the whole knife skills is very valuable, and cooking and knowing what knife is used for what.
Yeah.
What pot is used for what. There's a lot of kitchens too, like to this day, they don't have a chinois in it. My kitchen don't either, because we're not doing really like fine dining here.
And what's a chinois?
It's nothing but like a Chinese hat.
Okay.
It's a strainer,
Okay.
but as a very close knit, that whereas you could catch all the vegetables in it.
Mm-hmm.
So almost like a juicer.
Okay.
But it's a manual. You have to press down on it, or
Yeah.
it has like a mixer on top,
Okay.
and like the best gravies, the best sauces come through the chinois.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and these are like things that I would say that I enjoyed working with and making some of the best
Yeah.
sauces ever.
Yeah. So you're matriculating through school.
Mm-hmm.
You're learning this skill set. Are you cooking at home now? Are you joining in on these
yeah.
Friday nights and Sundays
yeah.
with the family food?
Not necessarily the Friday nights, but
Mm-hmm.
like Thanksgiving,
Okay.
Christmas, when that's when you really need it
Yeah.
to be in the kitchen. And I'm showing my parents then like how things are done at a professional level.
Right.
And they liking it.
Yeah.
So I started doing, some Thanksgiving meals, and I would do at my first home, I would do like a Thanksgiving meal for like 36 people. And I would just join, instead of using my dining room table, which would seat 8,
Mm-hmm.
I would do leaf tables.
Just extend
And
it,
I would
yeah.
just take out my dining room table out of the room, and I would do a leaf table in my dining room, and that I could seat like 36 people.
Yeah.
I could feed all at one time. And I kind of, surprised everybody of, what they could eat and how they could eat. Totally different than even how my Nana would do it.
Mm-hmm.
My stuffing, would be different.
When was the first time? Do you have a first time or a memory of you actually cooking for your Nana or Big Mama?
No, I never got a chance to cook for them. I never got a chance to cook for them. It was always they had prepared stuff for me.
Right.
And by then they were already gone.
They were gone, yeah. Yeah.
And I just, in my life, they were my grandparents. was everything, but because they started everything, they put everything all together. In the state of New Jersey, Big Mama. At one point in New Jersey, we owned the most businesses as a black family.
Jersey
City.
You got 14 of you to begin with, right?
That's right.
Right.
So we had candy stores. We had newspaper stores. We had laundromats. We had, not restaurants, but where you could go and sit down, but you can go and like have a quick breakfast, real quick, a breakfast sandwich.
Right.
In our stores, we had Bible stores, record stores.
So entrepreneurship weaves. I mean, and you would believe so with a family of that size, that entrepreneurship had to weave itself through the fabric of the family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because we didn't want to work for anyone. Most of the time, of my uncles had. A couple of them went into the service, but when they came out, they worked for the family business.
Right.
So we've always had our own business at some point.
Yeah.
That we worked for ourselves.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed that. I remember passing that down the line. My uncles passing it down the line to my brothers, and then my brothers passing it down to us. And,
Yeah. So you how long is culinary school for you?
Well, you could do a two year, or you could do a 4 year.
Which one did you do?
I did the 4 year.
You did the 4 year. Okay.
Yeah.
So in that, you are sharpening your skills. Are you now, 2 and 3 years in, are you now starting to supplement income by actually taking cooking jobs? You know what? Let me pause right there and ask a question. At what point does an individual, let me back this question up. Is the term chef earned in an actual manner, or is it, sometimes we understand people can abuse that and just give it.
Yeah.
But is it an actual, it's kind of like pastor. Like you have to, some people have it, but some people actually go to seminary school, and that is what is awarded after you complete a certain amount. Is that the title of chef?
Well, yes, it's usually after.
Okay.
It's a courtesy.
Okay.
To be called that prior to, before.
Right.
But I mean, there's a lot of people that are very talented, that are cooks, that have worked under great chefs, that have all the potential. They just don't have the sheepskin to go with it.
And define for me the difference, or not so much define it. What's the line in the sand between a cook and a chef?
Well, a chef can multitask.
Okay.
A cook usually is doing, a few things. A chef is thinking about a multitude of things all at one time, and it's almost like a duck. On top, the duck is just floating nicely, but underneath he's paddling like crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's how a chef mind, I think, works. I know in my mind, when I'm thinking of and I'm trying to prepare something that's very nice, is I'm always thinking of, all right, well, these people hired me to do an intimate dinner. I'm thinking about the plate. I'm thinking about the food, the color of the food that's going on the plate. Should we change the color of the plate? Or, do we supplement something on the plate to make it really look beautiful? So I'm thinking about a lot of things. What size meat? What size piece of fish? What could bring this out? How do we navigate that to making this an experience and not just thrown together?
Yeah. So colors, textures, all of those things.
Yep.
As the chef, you are the coach at the end of the day, right?
Absolutely.
You're devising the game plan, you're putting
Yep.
it all together, and then, you know, the cook would be the players.
Absolutely.
The individuals who execute the plan. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's jump back. You're 2 and 3 years in, you've now taken on some actual cooking jobs, right? To you are exposing and expanding your family's palates.
Yeah.
Because as you learn, you're bringing that back home to this large family. You're cooking. People are now experiencing other foods that they would have never experienced, or the same foods just made differently.
Absolutely.
You graduate, and what's the process like for finding your first full-time cooking gig out of
No problem at all with that. I wind up hooking up with a gentleman by the name of John Cronin, who is a Caucasian chef, and he and I just connected right away. Up until like one day, like this is how I had to learn that, this was not my kitchen. This is this man's kitchen, and we were very good friends, and I didn't understand business. And he's cooking like 20 ribeyes, whole ribeyes. So these people paid a lot of money for these ribeyes to be a certain way, and he cooks his ribeye on like a bed of all kinds of a mirepoix, which would be celery, peppers, carrots, onions, and so that the heat can go all around the meat.
Okay.
So I'm pulling them out of the oven, and they're in these big roasters. There's 2 of them in each roaster. So I'm dumping all the vegetables, all the juices from the meat. John Cronin turns around and loses it.
You're dumping it like in the trash?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, all right, well, I pulled the meat out.
Because you thought it was there to just, like, this purpose was just for the meat.
Right.
And that was that. Okay.
Yeah. He turned around and he said, "Chef, what the F you do that for?"
Right.
And I was like, what? Now, be honest with you, I could take John, but John had something that I needed.
Right.
And I wanted to be honest with myself. This is this man's business.
Yeah.
And I have to be careful of what I'm doing and how I'm doing things. And it's like, why'd you throw that away? That was part of the gravy. This is how I make gravy in the chinois.
Right.
So all the vegetables and all that stuff, he would just grind up in there, and you get all the nutrients into the stock. And I was like, now I get it, John. I understand.
Right.
And it never happened until it happened to me in my own kitchen with my own chef.
Right.
And then I was like, that's what it felt like.
John.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. And, I always give him a lot of homage because he taught me a lot of things outside of the school. He worked with me. And he was like, listen, you're going to be a great chef. And I ran his business before I went to Hilton Hotels, Hyatt Hotels.
Okay.
And allowed him to take vacations and all that stuff. His staff didn't want him back after I got there.
Right. So you learned how to cook in school, but you learned the business of food with John.
Yeah.
And the opportunity to run the show in his absence gave you the hands-on experience of the business of food.
Yep.
Right? And so I have a friend of mine who used to own Subway, he and his dad. And we were talking about something one day, and he was reminiscing on the business of food. And he was talking about like meats and how one of his refrigerators went down one day. And he said, you know, in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't seem like something to some people, but for this business, that refrigerator goes down, then the stages of meat that I have in there, it changes my bottom dollar. It changes what I'm making for the week, potentially the next couple of weeks. Like all of that, there's a business side. How much do I order? What do I give away? What, you know, all of that. There's so much to the business of food.
Oh yeah, I mean, because it's like a restaurant order is totally different than catering. Catering, we have, you know, I can just tell you like how many pans I need of this, how many pans I need of that for different things. I could tell you how long that's going to cook. For I've had chefs. I got a chef in there right now that'll tell me different than how long my macaroni and cheese is going to cook.
Yeah.
But until you could prove me wrong.
In your kitchen.
In my kitchen, we're going to do it my way.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
the John effect.
Yeah,
right.
2 hours, that is.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So that brings us to a great point of transition. So you've learned what you can learn from John, which makes you which leads you into the Hilton. It was the Hyatt. I'm sorry. And what was your role there? What did you
I was started off as a sous chef there. This is Hyatt New Brunswick. Mm-hmm. We opened that hotel, and I was working with another great chef, and he taught me a lot of stuff too, but none like John Cronin.
Yeah.
Before I know it, he had moved on, and they just moved me up, and then I was the chef of there for a little bit of time, and then I went to the New Jersey Law Center, which is the extension of the New Jersey State Bar Association.
Okay.
And I went there, and I was the chef there.
Now, in this moment, when you're saying you were the chef, you are the lead, the head chef. You are running the show. You're setting the menus. You're doing all of that. Okay.
Yeah. So, and this was the continued education for lawyers, judges, all of that kind of stuff in the tri-state area that I would be cooking for and doing big functions for, weddings and all that stuff. Some of the lawyers would have their wedding and stuff there for their children, and bar mitzvahs and all that kind of stuff. And I worked closely with a caterer by the name of David Allen, and this great chef by the name of Steve, Jewish family. Just beautiful work, man. Beautiful work. Another part of the business that just taught me, how to prepare like kosher for different ethnicities. So I got my highest, trained in kosher cuisine as well. Where
right, because that's an entire process. Yeah.
You don't mix dairy with meat.
No. Yeah.
And there's two different kitchens for, there's like a wall, there's different china that you use for dairy, and there's different china that you use for meat. There's different knives you use for that. And then you got to have a rabbi there to turn it on the fires and to light the stove for you. So every time you turn the stove off, the rabbi has to come and turn the stove on.
That's a great point. I did not know. Now I'll be honest. The extension of what I knew of kosher foods was to a degree what I knew of halal food, right? Like there's definitely a religious aspect to it that they have to pray over it, that the meat is slaughtered in a specific way, kind of things to that nature. But I didn't realize it was, especially the kosher way, that it was that intricate. Absolutely. That the rabbi has to turn on the oven, the stove?
Everything that's on that stove, he has to turn on. Then you got to have different...
He doesn't set temperature. He just has to turn it on.
He has to turn it on.
Wow.
Most times in the kitchen, if you're working in a kosher restaurant, usually you sweat your butt off because they don't turn the fires off. because every time they got to go get the rabbi might be somewhere else relaxing or
and you
reading his
go
Bible
get
and
him
study
to come
to turn it on and all that. You got orders coming through the doors, and you got to wait for the rabbi, and so it's a process with that.
Wow.
And then you got to make sure that you're not cutting the with the wrong knife. You got to use this knife for that and this knife for this. So you got a bunch of boards in front of you and all of that stuff. It's an experience, but it teaches you discipline.
And an attention to detail.
Yep.
Because if you have to take that much detail, there's that.
Absolutely.
Now we're back to this, our book range here theory.
Oh, yeah.
The attention to detail, to making sure that this knife and this cutting board is for that. This knife, this cutting board is for that. This set of china is for that.
Absolutely.
And being able to cook through a process in the time frame that you need to cook.
Absolutely.
But being mindful of those different things you have to use.
You definitely have to be mindful of that, because you could lose your job behind that kind of foolishness, because you're playing with other people's religion, and you have to respect that.
Absolutely. So you're now at the State Bar Association. You are the chef there.
Yep.
Are you catering outside of that also, or are you just
Absolutely.
mainly doing?
So I'm doing a lot of catering outside. I'm getting big jobs with different lawyers outside, and then I develop a small business, Selby's catering service, in New Jersey, and so I'm doing catering outside, because by then, like, my kitchen is running like a fine-tooth comb. All my whole staff was from South and Central America.
Okay.
Got these guys very trained to doing all kinds of good things, and enabled me to go and make money outside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they ran the kitchen.
Yeah.
They did a great job.
Yeah. So you got the main gig, which is with the Bar Association. You're the head chef there. You're doing a lot of the things in that establishment there, but then you've also realized outside the catering situation, and now you have this catering business that is profitable also. You're still loving what you do. You're setting. Do you find that the catering side is calling for different types of foods than what you are doing with the Bar Association?
Yeah. I mean, it's just a different level of food. Some folks want fried chicken and some folks want filet mignon.
You're right.
And then some folks, like I just had a customer call for a groundbreaking coming soon in Waldorf. He wanted some caviar for like breakfast.
Yeah.
And so there's levels of caviar.
There are levels of, right.
So I had specifically asked him, well, which caviar would you like? And I always start from the top up, because you never know who you're talking to.
Right, and you don't want to be disrespectful.
Right, I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't want to give you a salmon caviar if that's not what you're looking for. You know what I mean? So if you want royal beluga, I got you.
So and we won't stay here too long, but my brain is always intrigued by brand new information. So there are levels to caviar, as there are levels to everything.
Absolutely.
What is the top level of caviar?
Royal beluga.
Royal beluga. That's a whale.
Yeah.
Okay.
Royal beluga caviar is from Russia. As a matter of fact, I've served this. It's like $350 an ounce.
Yeah.
And it might be a little different now. Might be even more.
Right.
But I asked which one he would like.
Yeah.
So I started with Royal Beluga.
Right. We'll work our way down.
And we work our way down.
Absolutely.
And he gave me another name for one I've never heard of before, because I always try to give my customers the best.
Yeah.
So if it's not Royal Beluga, it's Beluga.
Right.
Then I've dealt with salmon caviar, which is beautiful. It's like a nice orange, just like the salmon.
Okay.
Salmon. It is really looks really nice.
Back to that color on plate. The thing that the chef has to be concerned about, the color, because the first thing you said was identifying the color of the. Yeah.
Absolutely. So he asked for it. It's a sort of like a black caviar.
Yeah.
For this. So I looked it up yesterday. So I have a book for all the fish in the world.
Yeah.
All the fish that they know of in the world.
Yeah.
Anyway. Then I have a book for all the different types of caviar.
And that is when you're talking, because as you were saying earlier, there's a difference between catering and so the flexibility and the knowledge that you need to have in catering is different than what you have to have in a restaurant.
Yes.
Because I assume it's the professionalism and the knowledge to be able to source unique requests here that are different than making your set menu over there.
Absolutely.
And doing it in a timely fashion.
Yeah.
Getting nice. Okay, so you're doing the bar association. That's all in Jersey. But we're having a conversation in Maryland.
Yes, sir.
So how do we get from Jersey to Maryland?
All right, so I get a call from a guy by the name of Michael Medina.
Okay.
He's in Canada. So he's living in Montreal, and he has a dream that he wanted to open up a restaurant in DuPont Circle. So he has a house also now in McLean, Virginia. And he says, he calls me and he asks me, he says, Chef Kendall, I got your number from another chef, and I'm interested in meeting you and to see whether you would assist me in opening my restaurant in DuPont Circle. And I said, okay. Well. And then he told me the chef who gave him the number. And I was like, okay, he's a reputable guy, he's a good guy. And I came to DC to meet with Michael. Obviously, he wants me to cook. And so I cooked some of the stuff that I know that, Jewish people like. Because, again, I have a lot of experience dealing with Jewish families, which is a blessing. So I made some schnitzel, and, I did some, what do you call it, chicken something, scallopini, what they like. So I did some scallopini for him over pasta, and he liked it. And he asked me and I use all the terms that I know that they like.
Yeah.
And I'm familiar with all the boards and the rabbi and all that stuff. So, and I'm familiar with reading the outside on all the labels. So if it's not a circle U or Circle K, I cannot use that product. That means it's not kosher. So he calls me, I get to DuPont Circle, meet up with him, and I did the food that he asked me, because all of them want to sample, like, if you their chef, you gotta cook. So we finished that up, and then he offered me the job. When he offered me the job, I was like, well, I'm really comfortable in my little spot where I'm at.
Right. I got a good thing going in Jersey. Right. I got
years in, and I could take my retirement and I could just open up something down here.
Yeah.
And he gave me an offer that I couldn't refuse.
Yeah.
And in a month, he bought my house, and gave me a sign-on bonus.
Yeah.
And moved my family to Pentagon City. I was living in a tall high-rise with my own driver and stuff, and taking me back and forth to work. I didn't have to get on the train and none of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I could just relax, and it felt good not having, because I don't know, not having no bills.
Right. Yeah.
Good God Almighty!
Yeah.
I wish I can get back there.
Right.
So he bought my house and all my stuff, so that when I came, all I had really was a car note.
Yeah.
And I lived in this tall high rise for 2 years, and the contract was for 2 years.
Okay.
So at that point, we were wrapping up the 2 years. I helped him open this thing, and they're still operating right now. Trained all the staff and all that stuff. And, they're still doing well. And my contract is up. And I say to my wife, I said, Karen, I like this high rise, but I'm used to a yard.
Yeah.
And I said, we got 2 young kids.
Yeah.
I want a front yard and a backyard. I gave up a beautiful house that I had there with a huge yard. I have on 4 acres of land. I was living on a nice little cul-de-sac, nice little spot.
Yeah.
And, I made my money though, with the sale. And I said, all right, well, it's time for us to get a house. I said, do you like it down here? And she said she liked it. So I said, all right, well, let's get a realtor. So we called Long and Foster, and we hooked up with Miss Jerry. Miss Jerry said, well, she kept bringing us to Charles County. We knew nothing about Charles County or Waldorf at all. Never heard of it ever in my life.
And from Pentagon City, you thought you were driving back to Jersey.
Right.
As long as it was taking you to get down there.
Exactly.
Right.
So I said, all right, well, let's see what this is all about. And she kept bringing us to Charles County. And at one point, I'm like, all right, I'm not the shopper who keeps shopping in the window.
Right.
You know what I mean? I said, all right, do you want to be here? She said, yeah. All right, let's stay.
Let's do it.
And I liked the money that I was making because I lived right under all the basketball players of the Washington Wizards.
Okay.
So at night, I would leave there and then go upstairs and do their functions. So I, make nice little money upstairs.
Right.
And I was like, I ain't never leaving this spot. And so I was doing all of their stuff. John Wall, all of them guys, I was doing their stuff upstairs. Their little private parties or whatever, having a good time. I was just, and I brought all the people from the restaurant to make extra money over there. They prefer to do that than even at the bistro. And, so we get the house down here. I bought a little house over here across the street from my restaurant. And we said, all right, well, we knew that there's another move, but let's just get this house. So we buy this house. And, had no idea that, my wife kept sending me down the street. She said, go look at that building down the street and see what's going on. We drive past there all the time. There's nothing going on in there. Middleton Hall.
Yeah.
So one day I drive past there, and I'm in the car with 4 chefs. And we're looking for a place that we can buy together.
Okay.
And I see the lady coming out of there. Her name is Marlene Smith. She's on the board.
What year is this? What year are we talking about?
We're talking about, let's see, had to be at least 8 years ago.
Okay, so 16, 17 time frame.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I said, all right, well, let's see what Marlene got to say. Marlene takes me inside the building. She says, hey, we're looking for a chef. I said, oh, yeah? And I'm not used to a building looking like that, to be honest with you, because in the building that I came from, the molding in the building was $2 million. Copper roof was $4 million.
Yeah.
Talking about a beautiful place. And I see Middleton Hall. It's old. It's dated, but it has the structure for something beautiful with someone with resources.
And there's a firing range.
Yeah.
In the basement.
So.
This is.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic.
That's a whole situation going on here, right?
So we get in there, and she asked me to do some food for her. She worked at the bank, and to bring it over to all the executives. And I did. I did some filet and stuff, and everything I made from scratch. And they loved it. She offered me a job down there. And I said, okay. She gave me my number. And, it was nice. A little sign-on bonus I had with them.
Yeah.
And I wound up staying there. And my wife was like, well, let's see whether we could probably purchase this place from them. Because it appeared that they really wanted to get out. So I was like, I try to work a deal, and every time I would try to work a deal with them, they would go up on the number.
Yeah.
So, which made me feel very uncomfortable.
Right.
Yep. And I just said, I just didn't like that, that they kept going up on the number. And maybe God has another plan for me. And so we stayed there for about 8 years.
So I'll jump in and say that I just remember one day Diotha saying, let's go over to Middleton Hall. And I was like, well, what's over there? Right? You know what I mean? Like what's over there? And then she, that's when she was like, I got one of my Jersey guys over there that's cooking up. I'm like, okay. All right, well, and Diotha, she knows if she says let's ride out, I'm with it. Let's go check it out. And so we get over there, and I'm like, oh man, this is okay. It's a space. All right. And then I could see what you had started to do with the place. It didn't take long. And again, from the outside looking in, it looked like it was Middleton Hall one day, and it was Middleton Hall the next day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it was like, all right, well, somebody's having an event. It's happening at Middleton Hall. Someone's having a show. It's happening at Middleton Hall.
Yeah.
Then it was, and I say that because like when you started brunch there on Sundays, like my wife and I and my friends, we eat out. We go to brunch. We're always looking for other restaurants, and I always talked about as in Charles County for a long time, there were, outside of the one or two, for lack of better terms, mom and pop restaurants, everything was a chain here.
Yeah.
So there was no feeling, no vibe, no love, no nothing into it because it's a chain restaurant. The food is good, but it's a chain, right? And so, we started coming over there for brunch. We started having our NAACP events there, and like, it started to feel like
it was ours.
Like the clubhouse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we were part of this club, and because Joe, you're in the club, the events happen there.
Joe, that's what we had needed. I felt that was a need for our community, because I felt like other people had other places that they could attend with ease. And here we're fighting to have a meeting in a space that's available that no one had access to, but God. And I wanted to change that. So here I am changing the outlook of, marginalized people. I just didn't want that. I wanted to impact the community in a way that whereas people who have been marginalized is no longer. We want to even that playing field. So that we have somewhere that we can go, that we can have events, and we feel comfortable, and we don't have to be criticized or put down or laughed at. No, we're not doing that.
So COVID happens. COVID happens, the world gets shut down. And then you have this idea to start selling, in essence, the grab and go version of the food that we had been coming to for events.
Yep.
And the second we heard about it, I was there. You know, I remember we were making our orders, coming to pick them up, and it was fantastic, man. And it was kind of like that thing where it's like, I know we wanted this. Like we loved eating it in the spaces, you know, at Middleton Hall. We loved the whole sit down effect to it, the events. But I also wanted some Big Mama's chicken on a Thursday. You know what I mean? I wanted to grab it, go. I wanted that mac and cheese. I wanted that fish, you know. And I'm saying I in terms of community. I know we wanted it, and we, you know, respectfully behind your back, we talked about it like.
That's awesome.
I would have loved to have, you know. I hope one day I hope one day it, and fast forward through all of the things that happen, you know, speak to the decision to do that then, in terms of changing your. I mean, you didn't really have any options, but you also didn't have to do it.
Yeah, well, it was my staff that came up with a cartoon and showed a video of me during the pandemic, and of me thinking about how I could help the community. I was like, for one, I needed a job. Number two, we need to make money in here to keep these doors open, because I knew that I wasn't getting the help from the sportsmen to keep the doors open. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, we're going to open up this back door, and we're going to do a drive-through, and we're going to sell our food. And we're going to sell our alcoholic beverages outside this back door once the county gave me permission. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to start hosting events in the backyard. Mm-hmm. All right. And it worked out. The community was supportive. They loved what we were doing. They loved what we were all about. And because there were places that you couldn't get in those meals. You couldn't go inside, none of that kind of stuff. It was a crazy time, but it was also a time to reflect on, you know, people were also dying and all kinds of things. So, you know, people were out to help whoever they could help, I think. And who helped me was the people who supported me in the beginning, but I have to give credit to the people who really stuck by me was those seniors. Senior citizens understood, the people from the Depression understood what this thing was all about. Yeah. And they understood, and that's why I ride with them. Yeah. I ride with the seniors simply because they stuck by me. Mm-hmm. You know, there was a lady here when we opened this place. She said, I needed you to give me the mic because those county commissioners need to know the things that you do in this community. Yeah. And I didn't give Miss Curry the mic because I didn't know whether Miss Curry was going to go in on them or not. Yeah, so I didn't want that. I didn't want that to turn into some mess. But I was like, well, Miss Curry is a very knowledgeable lady, and she could really speak for herself. But she was like, if I ever had the opportunity, I'm gonna tell them. Yeah.
And I mean, you know, I'd never heard that story before. Oh yeah. So to know how I started, right? When we start this episode, I started it in the same manner as Miss Carrie, right? Yeah. Which is there are things that you do in the community, and I think, you know, being on the community service side, knowing what it is to engage with business owners and individuals in the community, and understanding the difference in people and how they are when you approach them for things, or to do things, is completely different. So the earliest version of the grab and go is created during COVID, during the pandemic. Yeah. The pandemic ends, things open back up. things change, shift. You whatever happens over at Middleton Hall happens, and you decide to do something on your own.
Mm-hmm.
That's yours 100%. You're also doing all the catering because again, when Middleton Hall, again, we used to, I promise you, we talk more about you than you think we know, than you have any idea. We used to be like, man, I miss Middleton Hall. Man, I wish I had some.
Awesome,
man, I wish, I wish. And then you decided this. How did this jump in your brain? And
actually, this didn't jump into my brain. My wife had been asked me to open up a grab and go.
Yeah.
And this is really her idea, but
and that's awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
Right? Because when we talk about a partner and an individual,
absolutely,
to the proverbial helpmate,
absolutely,
right? Like someone who speaks that into you,
absolutely,
says, "Hey, don't forget, this is what you can offer the community." Yeah.
Yeah. So she said, said this to me, and I was like, well, I said, I'm really not a grab and go kind of guy. I'm a banquet chef. And she's like, that doesn't diminish anything that you do. We could just go ahead and keep on doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And the community still could be fed. So I said, okay. And this space came about really it had to be God, because I was at 7-Eleven getting gas. And I want,
which they just opened.
Right.
Right.
And so I go inside to get a cup of coffee. And a gentleman had approached me, the owner of this mall. His name is Siri. He approached me and he asked me, he said, "Hey, Chef Kendall, you have a minute?" I said, "Yeah." He said, brought me down here and he said, "What could you do in this space?" I was like, "I'm just here for coffee and gas," and I was on with my day. And gave me the keys. And 2 years later, we're here. He told me, think about it, let him know. And I had the keys to the place. And, take it easy.
Yeah.
And so I built this place out and made it into a grab and go with the influences of giving scholarships to kids in the community that are doing great things, which brings us to St. Charles, which is the local high school right here in the county that's close by Selby's. And I said, if I'm going to do something that's grab and go / restaurant, it's got to be based about the kids and the community. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. That's evident, right? Like that's evident here in the space, by the pictures on the wall, by the artwork.
Yes, sir.
Right? The young people that are given the opportunities to put their art in here, see their art here, advertise their stuff. Its proximity, the way you set this up even early on with young people having a space to come to before and after school, things like that. That's again, it's one of those linchpins to a community that people want and need. And so I stole this from somewhere, but it explained to me, because it's evident, but explain to me when you created the phrase, "Food is the catalyst for the soul."
All right. So I thought about that. It just because, I've been around and I've seen how people that don't even talk to each other.
Yeah.
But I've seen how food can make the perfect stranger communicate with another individual that they never seen ever before.
Yeah.
So I just said, food is it's like the Bible. Everything Jesus did, it was all around food.
There's a lot of food there. Absolutely.
Yeah, all around food. Food is the catalyst to everything.
Yeah.
You
It's
know
the
what
great
I mean?
equalizer.
Yeah, it makes people communicate even when you don't want to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It makes people say, I see people that do this when they get good food. They just rock.
There's a rock, right?
Yeah,
right,
I see
right.
people that just go like, they just get happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've seen people change over food.
Yeah.
And I love that feeling. I love that feeling.
Yeah.
More than money. I love that feeling. I like to see people happy over something that I created, something that they enjoy. I never thought about doing it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's different, but it's good.
What your wife mentioned this where we're sitting right here at Selby's Grab and Go.
Mm-hmm.
Your wife mentioned this. You said to her, "I am a banquet chef, not a grab and go person."
Yeah.
But you also have food as the catalyst for the soul.
Yeah.
Now that this is here,
Mm-hmm.
could you see
Well, sometimes
you see it not being here?
No. Sometimes I think, with your significant other, my wife sometimes can see way further than myself.
Yeah.
And she understood that what could be an addition
Yeah.
to catering, addition to weddings. People wanted Big Mama's chicken Thursdays,
Yeah.
not just on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So, and it's apparent to me that they want it because my sales tell me that, and they eat it all times of the day.
Yeah.
So they ordering that stuff.
And I don't want to get this messed up. Like, it's sacrilegious in my house for me to come here during any breakfast hour and not bring grits back to my wife.
I know that's right.
She is not playing with me, not saying that I swung by or I came by here to chop it up with you and I walk in
And don't have
without
no grits.
those grits.
That's
right?
awesome.
So, there are your salmon cheese sticks, right? Like this grab and go situation has created its own linchpin in the community. And we're not even talking about the other side of the space.
Let me just say this to you too. Prior to me having a sign on the building on the outside,
Yeah.
there was no one in Charles County that had a sign that said grab and go.
No,
No one.
it didn't. It didn't exist.
No one had that out there.
It
I ride past other restaurants now.
Yeah.
They say grab and go.
Yeah.
Grab and go.
Right.
No one had those signs out there.
Yeah.
I said grab and go. Now, I want to make this clear too. Are you hungry? Come get it. That is mine's. I'm just telling you,
Yeah.
just in case if you want to use it, it's mine.
That's me.
That's me. So if you hear that somewhere else, if you hear salmon cheesesteak is somewhere else, that's me. I created
That's it.
that.
That's here. There's no
Yeah,
ifs,
I
ands,
created
or
that.
buts about it.
I guarantee you, you can't have Big Mama's fried chicken nowhere but here.
Listen, and my cousin in L.A. Literally, when I brought him here 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
I told him I was shooting with you, and he was like, "Can he send me one of those packaged to L.A.? I need that salmon
That's
cheese
awesome.
thing." Yeah,
That
no,
is awesome.
man, it's this is it, man.
Yeah.
Like this is what we needed, community-wise, a place to be, and people can definitely
in.
walk and move around. What's happening, people?
Yeah. Come in.
And so,
Come in. What's up, man? How you doing? Good. You remember me, right? Yeah. Awesome. All right. So this is what the community is all about.
Absolutely.
Right here. These little people, these guys right here that live in our community from San Diego, just moved here, is playing sports in our community.
Yeah.
This is the place where we want to recognize this young man.
Absolutely.
Up in our space.
What's your name, man?
Bryson.
Bryson? Nice to meet you. Did you already played?
Yeah.
Did y'all win? What'd you do?
Awesome.
What position you play?
I play shortstop.
There you go. And he got a twin.
And I hit 2.
That's right. Got 2 of them.
There's 2 of them. What's your
That's
name?
it.
Jackson.
Bryson and Jackson. So you
Yeah.
play shortstop and pitcher. You in a hot spot. So what position you play?
Pitcher and shortstop too. Sometimes outfield.
Ah, okay. All right. How'd y'all do today?
They won.
You won. All right.
won.
That's
They won
fantastic.
today.
Nice to meet you, gentlemen.
Awesome,
Perfect
man.
timing. Your
Yeah.
timing couldn't have been any more perfect. We were just talking about folks hanging out
Thank
here,
you,
man,
man.
after
Thank
their
you.
games.
That's right.
All right, so
I wanna
hopefully
recognize you guys,
I'll
all
see
right?
your pictures on the wall at some point, right? All right. Appreciate you, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Good to meet you. Couldn't have scripted it any better,
That's
man.
it, man.
They just
They come like that, man, and honestly, like some of my seniors just walked in here,
Yeah.
and you know, we're happy to have them here. This place is not like, not to shun anybody else's business in the community that are doing other things, but our space is a little different because we cater to those kinds of folks.
Yeah.
We cater to our seniors because there's a lot of times that people don't even go to see the senior.
right. Yeah.
You don't even go look at them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not doing photo ops for our people in here.
Yeah.
We love on them.
Yeah.
We care for them. We nurture them. And sometimes when even some of the people that come here, they can't afford to buy the meal, I give it to them.
Yeah. And we've had that, you know, again, I've had, you know, when we first decided to shoot in here, we've been shooting on the other side. And people will see that in the other episodes. But I wanted to make sure that we shot on this side for these moments of people coming in and out. And it's, you know, I told my friend, like my brother Rocky, about where we wanted to shoot, and I pointed out the areas by which you hold court. Right? There are 2 spots that we always know that you're sitting. One spot you're there, the other spot is where you really hold court over at the table, right? And so there have been many a days where I've popped in here and you're knee deep in a conversation with a member of the community, talking to them, with them about community issues, clergymen, just a lot of things. And I think, you know, that's important for people to be able to come to a space.
Absolutely. And to be able to have that conversation.
And you know, barbershops are always that space, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to discount what they mean to the community, and with that said, again, there's that clubhouse feel, that cheers, you know, like this is our neighborhood space, man, that happens every time I come. I can't tell you how many random people I've met sitting here at the
That's awesome.
at the counter. As a matter of fact, there's one lady I'm supposed to follow up with. She's supposed to help me switch the intro music to the show.
Wow.
You know,
man.
just randomly sitting there talking with her.
That's
She's got
awesome.
a website and she does music. Like those are the things that happen organically in this space, because it's not, with all due respect to any other franchise owner, it's not Chick-fil-A. You're not just going in to grab your food and walking out.
No.
You're sitting here, you're eating, you're talking. I've given recommendations for
want.
food. When someone walks in and says, "What's good here?" and everyone's like, "Oh, order this, order that."
Yeah.
You know.
My wife wants this place to be, you know, like you come into our grandmother's house Sunday after church, and you having a good Southern meal, comfort, and we love on you. You know, we have conversations with you, and we talk with you about community things, and you know, you can have something. No one's judging you here. You know, we just want to wrap our arms around you and just say, hey, look, you in a safe environment here.
Yeah, man. I'm appreciative of it, your space, Debbie. You know, just it always feels like extended family.
Yeah.
Right. And so, whether that was the goal or not, which it absolutely positively was, like we've identified Fridays and Sundays in your house and what it means to be around family and creating that environment is what you created at Middleton Hall.
Yeah.
And what you absolutely created here. We couldn't be more happy for you. As a member of the community, I couldn't be more proud of you and this.
Proud of you too, brother.
And all that you're doing here, man. And
yes, sir.
You know, this is it, man. This is. I hope that this is here for as long as humanly possible.
Absolutely.
Because I don't see a reason why it wouldn't be.
I don't see a reason why it wouldn't be either. At least, you know, for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I intend to have it here. I want people to always call my grandmother's name.
Yeah.
I want people to constantly remind me how good my grandmother was to me.
Yeah.
I don't talk about my mother much because she's special. You know, very, very special.
Right, absolutely.
I mean, more than anybody, my mother, Margie Selby, was everything to me.
Yeah.
But my grandmother, she was sort of like the catalyst to putting things together, buying all these brownstones so that we can live. You know, we were poor at first.
Yeah.
I can't say that we were always poor, but we were, you know, we was in the middle of the road kind of family.
Well, you got 14 people.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, you've got 16 mouths to feed, right? So you've got to get. It doesn't start easy.
No.
You know, and so as a family grows, you've got to get.
Then you got resources coming in and stuff, and you know.
Yeah. But you've also got to be good stewards with that.
Absolutely.
And that, as you mentioned before, that's where the entrepreneurship comes into play. And all of that. But
so it's just one thing after the other that, you know, like my grandmother, that, you know, Big Mama, you know, had all of these brownstones. I grew up on this street, this Madison Avenue.
Yeah.
And Madison Avenue is a very historic street. A lot of people come always to buy the houses in there, 4 stories, brownstones. And, you know, my grandmother had bought 25 of them. Yeah, when they were like
25?
Yeah, like $20,000.
Wow.
Now today they're worth 1.7.
Oh, they're through the roof, absolutely.
Yeah, and I say I have to give her homage on that. Big Mama.
Yeah.
With a 3rd grade education.
25.
A 3rd grade education.
Yeah.
Was raised by a slave. Did this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So before lottery, there were street numbers.
Absolutely.
And that's what my grandmother did. She did street numbers. Had some success with it. And, you know, it was illegal.
Yeah.
To do.
But she had 16 mouths.
Yes, with a 3rd grade education.
With a 3rd grade education.
All right. So, I mean, you could do anything you want to do if you put your mind to it.
So the numbers runner,
right,
is on the wall.
On the wall.
For Big Mama's Chicken.
That's right.
In Maryland.
In Maryland. In Maryland. For the rest of my life, that's where she will be.
That's fantastic, man.
Oh yeah.
That is fantastic. I couldn't. Yeah.
She set the tone. She set the tone for my family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How we ought to live.
And you are recreating that.
Yeah.
Here.
Right here.
With this film.
Yeah. Set the tone.
So, Chef.
Yes, sir.
I'm, you know, I think that's a wonderful place to end. But I have to ask one final question.
Yes, sir.
One final question. we talked a lot about food. We've talked a lot about your, the ambiance that you've created here. We've talked about Jersey, the move, DuPont Circle, catering, grab and goes. We talked about all of those things. We didn't really get a chance to talk a lot about your kids and the incredible things that they're doing. Your daughter's a sommelier, which is, oh man, at some point I may have to grab her for a full-on interview with discussion with her,
problem.
because
she would love it.
She is a unicorn in society as a young woman, as an African American sommelier. I mean, they did a whole movie on Netflix about the difficulty in that, right? So, but I have to ask, everyone has a hobby outside of what you are to the community, outside of who you are to your family and friends. Aside from all of this, what is one or two things that you just absolutely love to do outside of food and business?
Outside of food and business, I'm a professional pilot.
You're a professional pilot?
Drone pilot.
Okay. I was about to say. I mean, that's also incredible, right? Right.
Drone pilot.
Okay.
So I own 2 professional drones.
Professional drone pilot.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I fly a lot of times, man. When I'm away, I always have my drone with me.
Yeah.
Different scenes and different landscapes for all of that stuff, man. I'm fascinated with traveling. I love traveling all over the world. I've been to Morocco. I've been to Africa several times.
That was one thing I meant to get, but continue. Yeah. I'm sorry, because we're gonna have to double back to that. I can't let that. I can't. That was in my notes, and this is what happens when I choose my phone instead of my paper notes.
Yeah. So I've been to Africa. I've been to all over the Bahamas. I've been to Central America several times. I've been to Europe. I love more than anything to travel. And to travel with my family nonetheless, with my wife and my kids, and let them see the world, because it's bigger than you think. So, and you'll get a better perception of life.
Oh, your perspective absolutely, positively changes when you see other things.
Yeah.
So, if you can, I'll ask for, in the interest of time, I'll ask for a top 5. I'll ask for a top 5 places that you have gone to cook.
I'd have to say number 1 would be Africa.
Wow.
Gambia. I worked for the president of Gambia, opening the first American hotel for the president of Gambia, which is a small country in West Africa, in the middle of Senegal. All right, I'd have to say there, because there I learned how to cook the jollof rice. One of the staple items that Africans like is their good rice.
Absolutely.
And it's delicious. I'd have to say Spain would be another one. I love Barcelona.
I've been to Madrid. I haven't been to Barcelona.
Oh, I'd love Madrid even more. Barcelona is nice too. It's more city.
Yeah.
Let's see. I love the Caribbean.
And these are places you've gone to cook.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. And what took you to cook in Spain?
Most things, like most opportunities that I get a chance to cook, and I'm on vacation.
Absolutely.
And then my wife would say, "Hey, you know, my husband is a chef," and the other. And I tell her all the time, please don't say that to these
Right,
people
right.
because I really don't want to be bothered.
Right,
I don't-
right.
you know, I
I'm here
want-
not to do that.
yeah.
Right.
And I wind up doing the dessert, or I wind up doing the entree for the
Yeah.
night, or whatever. I'm in St. Pete in Tampa on vacation, and I wind up cooking like some jerk chicken or whatever, and
Yeah.
a young lady made a little small commercial of me. She said it's and she's from the Bahamas.
Right.
She said it's the best jerk chicken she ever had on the island.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so I got to say in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
You know, I try to cook the native,
Absolutely,
what the native
absolutely.
would like,
Yeah.
and the way the native would, not necessarily the way I want it.
So we've got Gambia is number one. Spain came in with number two. Gambia is the only one that's definitely number one. Everything is just on the list. the top
Everything
five.
else, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So we've got Spain. You've given the Bahamas. That's three. Give me two more.
I would say, let's see, Tampa, Tampa, Florida, and what would be the other? I would say New Jersey, man. You know, when I go back to Jersey, I'm doing like stuff for like the judges in their homes and all that kind of stuff, man. And you know, and then they want like international things.
Yeah. So to bring this to a close, a decision in 12th grade to go to French culinary school based on the birth of your son took you from Jersey City to as far as Gambia and everywhere in between.
Absolutely. Most places I've been to, they thought I was in the military.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So, how'd you get here? The military, U.S. military
Yeah.
brought you here?
Nah.
And no, I was just fortunate to be able to say no.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's incredible, man. I appreciate it. Your journey is incredible. To hear the humble beginnings, what fed to it, the homage that you have for individuals along the way, who've entrusted you with certain levels of
Absolutely.
what you've learned from individuals like that one instructor with 150 pounds of onions to cut,
yeah.
all the way to John and teaching you the business of food, to what you're doing here and the staff you're doing here, and all of the
Absolutely.
community service and all that you give to the community and what we give back. Couldn't be more appreciative of you, man.
Thank you,
for
brother.
this space.
Yes, sir, man.
And all of that, man. I
Yeah.
hope
It was a pleasure
We'll
talking
do it
to you.
again.
Yes,
for sure,
sir.
For sure.
Yes, sir. Always a pleasure, Joe.
Always, man.
Love you,
Appreciate
man.
you, for sure.
Yes, sir.